Well, let's shift gears then, and very literally, and talk to the management of Landmark Cars. Sanjay Thakker is now joining in to talk a little bit more about luxury cars that have been selling like hotcakes, and of course, focus on EVs and their own performance. Thank you so much for taking time out. Just going to start off by talking about the trend that we've seen for FY23 with luxury cars. Clearly, after a record year, what is the outlook for FY24? Is demand looking promising?
Thanks for having me on the show. Year 23, though we had the best ever year for luxury cars and also for the Indian automotive market, one needs to bear in mind that this was on the back of severe supply shortages, the chip shortage and the Ukraine war, which kind of hampered the supply chain across the world. If it was not for that, the numbers would have been much higher, not only for us, but also for the entire premium and luxury industry. So as we enter into the year 24, the availability, I'm hoping will be much more than what we had in the year 23. And the mood on the ground remains to be quite solid. All in all, a good time to be around.
Around, and I'm very excited, Sanjay, to hear out about your partnership with MG Motor as well as BYD as well, because we are seeing a lot of MG Motor cars around us, and BYD, if I remember it right, is one of the top picks from Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway. He's quite positive on the counter. Tell us, how's been the traction so far in India?
Yeah, as far as BYD is concerned, they are early days, and some of the models need to be homologated. So really, the traction will happen in the years to come. No big deals right now, except that they are clearly the market leader around the world, and I'm sure they will do well. They have spoken about capturing a good amount of EV market, where when India becomes EV. And as far as MG is concerned, it is early days. We just got the LOI, and one of our subsidiaries, which will be headed by my son, will be looking at it. So we'll see how that pans out, though we are extremely happy with this association.
To build up a bit on that, so it's early days for MG Motor partnership, and I understand it's only 2 stores for now. How are you looking at scaling up? What's the store addition plan, and how do you see the growth or the contribution from these cars panning out, let's say 12 to 24 months out?
So in our case, I think the growth is going to come from multiple sources. What needs to be seen is that our average selling price, what the cars that we sold last year, we are now selling cars worth nearly 18 lakh rupees at an average, which was just 14 lakh rupees a year back. So we have got a 25% jump on the average selling price of the cars that we sell. The cars that we service, that average selling price of the service that we undertake has also gone from 21,000 odd to 23,500 rupees. So there is a 10% jump over there. So the growth for the company will come from several things. The average selling price going up, the volumes going up, and the service revenue, which has always been a solid source of what we are doing. So which has been growing at 20% CAGR for the last 9 years. It actually grew at 25% last year. So we have a heady cocktail of things which are happening. And we also don't forget that we have the Honda Elevate, the new car getting launched, the Mercedes-Benz GLC, which will be launched during the year. So a lot of cars which were as such not available is something that we are looking at to propel our growth.
What about EVs in terms of how they've been selling off late? Which are some of the latest models? The Hyundai Ioniq, for instance, Mercedes-Benz now with their new electric vehicles, 4 of them. How are they selling, and how much of share of your total revenue pie now comes from EVs? How do you see that growing?
Yeah, so I think India, as far as the EVs are concerned, is at a nascent stage currently. And as far as Mercedes-Benz is concerned, it's been stated publicly that within the next 4 years, the EV contribution will jump to 25% of all the cars that we are selling. So the cars that have been introduced right now, the EQB, and the EQS, which have been they are doing pretty well currently, and the volumes will only grow. I think the Indian market, we are at around I think 1.5% of the total market, which is EV for India. The global average is much higher, and it is. I think the EV acceleration will happen maybe 2-3 years down the line, where more models are made available by the mainstream car manufacturers, and the volumes will gradually pick up. That's the view that we have at Land.
You talked about the fact that growth would be on account of multiple levers, for instance, the increase in the average selling price that you talked about. When I was speaking with Santosh of Mercedes at the start of the year, he did point out that they're expecting a double-digit growth perhaps in the year. From 16,000 units sold annually, they're looking at maybe 18 to 20,000 soon. What's your take of what the volume growth could be in the year? And any more tie-ups lined up apart from, let's say, the MG and the BYD, which is in process?
See, as Santosh is the correct person to kind of predict the volumes for the company. On ground, we are fully supportive of these numbers being achieved. The supply remains to be something that we wish was better. The demand continues to be strong on the ground. So we should be looking at India as a story which is a multi-year story, a 10-year out. What is it that we can be? Today, the luxury market is only around 1% of the overall market. Last year, we sold 4 million vehicles. Luxury was 40,000 vehicles. Now, this is really a very, very small, insignificant figure, and this can significantly grow over a period of time. So we at Landmark are looking at playing a long-term game, not looking only at this quarter or the year, but how will it be 5 years out, 10 years out, and we are building on something which will be monumental. That's the view we have, and that's how we are positioning our company.
And the after sales that you talked about, it continues to be a steady revenue generator, but any sense that you could give us in terms of what's the mix at this point of time, what could be the contribution going forward, and overall what will it do to your margins?
Yeah, so that is a business which is compounding, as I said, at 20% CAGR for the last 9 years. Our service, the after sales billing was around 750 crores last year with more than an 18% EBITDA. Now this grew at 25% year on year between 22 and 23. So we are hoping that this keeps on, we are quite confident that this will keep on compounding. And we believe that this is a kind of an annuity business that we are building. The cars that we put on the road, then they give us revenue for the next 5, 6, 7 years. The accidents that happen in India are also not small. 1 in 3 cars that you see on the road meets with some or the other accident every year. Now that is something which will keep on happening, and this is something which we believe will be a very big driver in our profitability. And mind you, our profitability has grown significantly year on year. We have declared a dividend of 45%. So this is our first year, and we would like to build from here.
Thanks so much, Sanjay, for joining in and taking time out, giving us a sense as to what's been selling when it comes to autos, as well as how business is shaping up for you.